this evening. I just wanted to thank everyone who's here and the Mulligan's team for putting this event together tonight. And I would like to welcome Mayor Peter Kavanagh to say a few words.
I was asked outside if I normally write my speeches in English or in Irish, and as I don't normally write them. But I've decided to today because it's kind of a big deal. It's great to be here. Absolutely fantastic to be here. This is a Mother Tongues Festival and Mother Languages Day. It's a cause very dear to my own heart. So I go to the paper. A chuirtá anna has her father and bhean seoch an leirtliv ócáid lá na máthair hangacha inniu sa civic ábhar atá anhabhachtach dumsa go páirsanta. I'm very delighted to be with you today here in the Civic to speak about a topic that's personally very important to me on the occasion of International Mother Languages Day. Language rights are human rights. It's a statement I've uttered many times and one I've clung to as a maxim for many years now. I have reluctantly accepted the title of language rights activist on numerous occasions, but at heart, through all my own work on Irish language rights, all I've wanted to achieve was an acknowledgement of the truth, that we're here, we have always been here, and we're not going anywhere. I didn't think much about languages growing up. I was raised, like most Irish people, through the medium of English, but my parents were aware of the many benefits of multilingualism. They knew that people who speak more than one language have improved memory, problem solving and critical thinking skills, enhanced concentration, the ability to multitask and better listening skills. They had an idea that polyglots can switch between competing tasks and monitor changes in their environment more easily than monoglots, as well as display signs of greater creativity and flexibility. Now, I'm not sure if Mum and Dad knew that as we age, being bilingual and multilingual also helps to stave off mental ageing and cognitive decline, but they were convinced nonetheless to send me to a Gael school and to open my horizons. Irish, for me, was a useful tool. It was a second way of communicating, a code I could switch into and out of as the situation befitted. But in my formative years in Coláiste Cillian and Maynooth University, I became aware that Irish was so much more. For me, it was my identity, my passion. It was simultaneously a cause and who I was. I became involved in campaigns to recognise Irish as a working EU language, to improve the presence of the Irish language in my community and on campus, and to preserve the Gaeltacht, the beating heart of the language I love so much. Like many causes and like many activists, the Irish language took a back seat to life as I grew older, until in 2015, Oscar O'Keira and I noticed a growing trend in the Irish media to, simply put, deny that we existed. There we were, two Dubliners who used Irish as a means of communication, who spoke the language not out of necessity or educational or professional requirement, but out of that most primitive and simple urge to communicate, to express ourselves, to be seen and to be heard. Yet week in, week out, we read in the national broadsheets that we were non-existent, speaking a dead language, that we were on the take, or cowering in the shadow of the spectre of Peg Sayers, whose brilliant book, by the way, I never read in school, and neither has almost anyone under the age of 50. When a media platform published a video claiming that pandering to the Irish language lobby and teaching and using a dead language was costing €1 billion a year, we asked for a right of reply. We'd hoped that a few facts and figures would put to rest any notion that we were somehow some sort of Schrodinger's Gaelgory, simultaneously not existing and being too ever-present, somehow being an elitist minority that also forces their language down everybody's throat. When we weren't given an opportunity to respond, we did what anyone in our position would have done. We went for a pint. We decided that the only way to prove that we, the Irish speakers of Dublin, actually existed was to tap into the community that hitherto had existed in the liminal space outside of the gaze of English speakers and take over the English world for one night. We picked a pub and we lit what we would later call a bat signal to other Irish speakers. We hoped that if 30 or 40 Irish speakers occupied a bar for one night, that the English speakers could no longer claim we weren't there. And when 350 people turned up, we realised we may have started something a little bigger than that simple expression of self. I'm delighted to say that Pop Up Gaeltacht is a success story. It's an open source event that now exists on 5 continents and has been co-opted by communities, sporting organisations, political movements and language rights activists across the globe. The struggle for Irish language rights continues as we push for a Language Act in the north and the preservation of the Gaeltacht's embattled soul. But the idea that we just don't exist is settled, put to bed, and done for. This county, which I have the honour and the privilege of being mayor of, South Dublin, is a cultural melting pot. Fully a sixth of our citizens were born outside the state, and this is reflected in the 190 or so languages spoken here. From Minker Cant to Irish Sign Language, from Amharic to Yoruba, from Afrikaans to Tagalog, the linguistic tapestry of our county is a masterpiece of humanity and culture. We should rejoice in the sounds of our people, as we should in their diversity and their shared dignity. We know that the struggle for language rights is ongoing. We know that Irish remains at risk of following her beautiful sisters, Manx and Cornish, into demise and limited revival. We know that the native travellers of this land risk losing their own language of Cant and the unique perspective that that brings. We know that we must never ever allow the lazy, utilitarian, monoglot idea that one language is enough and that culture is secondary to misguided progress take hold. But today we raise our hands and our voices. Today we celebrate our many languages and we harness the power and the beauty of multilingualism. Today we say proudly that we exist, that we are here. We've been here for some time now. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be